welcome back everybody to another episode of Tales of TIC with myself, Harrison, and Clay Savoy. Hi Clay, how's everything going?
Good, Harrison. It has been a while.
Yeah,
Fan of your podcast, and looking forward to seeing if we can help shed a little light on a few subjects.
yeah. Thank you for joining, Clay. And just as background to the audience, Clay's a serial entrepreneur within compliance and industrial markets, and currently serves as the CEO of MidState Industrial Maintenance, which is a private equity-backed industrial service platform. In today's conversation, we'll be discussing everything AI related and the challenges we're facing in the industry when it comes to having qualified engineers and technicians, and really just having the qualified people with boots on the ground. As we see in the demand for engineering and inspection, asset integrity, it really seems to be growing, but the supply of qualified talent is just not there, and it's not keeping the pace. So we look to recruit harder, train better, and improve the retention, but I don't think we'll ever fully close the gap with people alone. So yeah, really looking forward to this conversation, Clay, and hopefully you can share some wisdom with us. I guess when we look at AI and the necessity of it, looking at becoming an AI player, how do you see this as a necessity in the industrial inspection and engineering space, Clay?
Yeah, so I think the best way that I can answer that is to kind of go with a mindset. I don't believe AI is the story. I believe the workforce is the story, which you referred to before. And we've tried for decades what I call like beating ourselves over the head with trying to recruit, beating ourselves over with actively trying to recruit each other's technicians and, skilled qualified labor and paying them more, where the industry and our end users has always had a lag of what they would pay companies like us to provide those technicians. So the workforce really is the story. So where I've seen and where I see that AI can really come into play is AI becomes an enabler so you can increase the capacity of your workforce. Okay. We can't hire our way out of this problem. AI is a tool that can be used to help supplement the workforce that you already have. I like to use this old adage because people can relate to it. AI isn't replacing inspectors and engineers. That's never going to happen simply from the demand aspect. You can never grow the TIC and industrial services fast enough to keep up with its pace that it's been growing the past few years. It's just never going to happen. So don't think about it like that. It's not a replacement. It's a way to supplement and multiply your current workforce. The example that I thought of, preparing for this conversation is let's talk about level threes and let's talk about level three expert. Level threes typically, I know, because unfortunately, I is one, as they like to say in this world. They'll spend half their day reviewing reports, doing quality control on how they report this data. Did they call the right indications? Basically what I call a lot of admin related functions for somebody that is a very highly compensated and technical expert in their given field. So what if you can integrate AI workflows into how that level three delivers their services to where they don't have to worry about those admin related functions? Is the report formatted correctly, is all the data fields filled out correctly? Did they have all the right calibration dates? Is the equipment they're using actually calibrated to some reference standard without having to go physically verify that? If you integrate AI into the workflows of just how you deliver a service, you can really eliminate what I call these just non-value added functions that we're paying these highly compensated people to do. So in effect, you increase their capacity by giving them less admin functions to do. That's how I look at it. That's how I see AI, when it's done correctly, into workflows, enabling us to do more work with the people that we do have.
And it sounds like the integration will help businesses become more efficient. And I think when you look at the word AI, almost scared of the word and what it entails. And I guess you'll see it more than me being a business leader, Clay. But obviously, companies are experimenting with AI.
Yeah.
Why do you believe experimentation is not enough?
Yeah, so I mean, to back up just a hair before we get to that, it's like the next generation of TIC businesses and industrial service businesses where labor is your main like input that you're providing. You know, the next leader in this is not going to be the company that can supply the most people. It's how do they make the people they already have twice as productive as they're sitting here today. I think back, 30, 40 years ago, when the personal computer was first introduced, again, nobody understood how it would impact just the day of how we perform our work tasks. And now it's an essential tool that you can't replace. Why? It makes you more productive. So that's how I look at it today. So, I think companies are experimenting with AI today simply because they were told they have to. And I say that with, all the smiles on my face. They're either private equity backed or they're hearing all the news about AI. Everybody's using ChatGPT or Claude on their phone and they're using it in their personal lives. So, of course, they're going to try to use it professionally. But what I call the current sophistication is for industrial and tech businesses to this point is they're trying to think of all the ways they can use AI. Like, oh, this is a really cool way that, I can take all this tick data and I could sort through it. And, oh, man, look at everything it's doing. But it's not a dedicated, what I call effort to integrate it within its workflows. Like literally take your entire service delivery A to Z and say, here's where we start. We take a call from the customer. Here's where we end, where we deliver our services. Where can AI live in our ecosystem of service delivery that adds more value and capacity to our workforce? I really do think our industry is lagging behind in that. And it takes a dedicated effort from ownership, from the private equity company, if you want to say, if they're private equity backed, from the leadership team to adopt it as a mindset, not just, oh, we're going to go see what we can use AI on and go develop all these tools. And, hopefully some of them will really work out. That's where I feel like the AI sophistication is at currently within TIC and industrial services businesses.
Mm. I think you hit the nail on the head when it comes to the TIC and industrial services, a very, very archaic kind of industry. And I would say very much behind the times when you look at the manufacturing space, for example. And I guess it's really hard to understand what good would look like within AI and inspection and engineering. But I guess from your perspective, Clay, what does a fully AI-enabled inspection or engineering workflow look like to you?
Yeah. So the scenario that I thought of preparing for this conversation is something that everybody in TIC can relate to. Whether they're a service provider or a field technician. Let's take a refinery turnaround, a turnaround environment, a shutdown. We got something going down and you have a certain period of time that the owner user wants it back, or you're going to have some phone calls that you don't want to listen to. So could you imagine before you go into that turnaround, AI has already reviewed previous inspection reports, every historical thickness reading from a corrosion erosion standpoint, previous repairs, changes to applicable codes from maybe the last time the piece of equipment was down, drawing revisions, work packages, NCRs, safety related findings around the equipment from the past couple years, to try to map out from an HS&E standpoint for people's safety. The inspector for the turnaround would then spend less time planning for what they have to go do, because AI technology today could take all that information, if the data is integrated correctly, and literally create the safety work plans, the actual work plans, go check for these things. So you actually perform a better inspection. Our codes are written today from an API and an ASME standpoint that if they were to go do an entry on an API pressure vessel, for example, it is like they have never entered that thing before. And what I mean is they're going to check it from front to back per the code like no one has ever looked at it before, because it was a different inspector that looked at it before. That is like literally the way our industry is written. Well, could you imagine where we're going to meet all the requirements of our certain code, but also these AI workflows are going to say you really need to go look at nozzle A, D, and E, because there are probably going to be corrosion at the gasket surface because of what happened in its previous history. So you're going to meet the code, but you're also going to get a better inspection simply by all the background work that integrated workflows could do, that it would take this inspector hours or days if they even do that. Because that's the second side of that, is what I've seen in my experience. An inspector never has access to all of that history and information. They just don't have it. So they physically can't prepare as well as an integrated workflow could with today's technology if we were using it correctly.
Mm. And as a leader yourself, Clay, you've spoken about introducing it to the workflow and how it's really going to help the manpower save time and become more efficient and have readily available data that we didn't have before. And as we know, part and parcel of being with AI is having the data to back it up. I guess when you look at your business and the future, I guess what should people like yourself be doing to prepare today, but also in the future? What should we be doing, Clay?
Yeah, my biggest advice that I could give to leaders is quit thinking about AI as projects, as we talked about before. It's not an operations project. It's not a commercial project. It's not some quality initiative where we're going to go scrub our data or how we can make our workforce more efficient in what we do. Think of it as business model transformation. We need to physically accept as a TIC industry and an industrial service industry, it is changing. It has already changed. Okay. So a new leader in this, if they try to think of ways they can integrate AI into how they provide services from a workflow instead of a project, I think you're going to be ahead of the curve. So, a couple things that I can add to that, start with the workflow, not the software. I like to say, I could care less if you're using Claude, ChatGPT, about the 1,000 other AI startups that everybody's heard of. It does not matter at the point unless you can explain in your workflow where you want it to be integrated at. Don't worry about what AI you're using today. Worry about the workflow. Then organize and hygiene your data. Because if you're actually going to go pull all this data that the AI can use, because, if you haven't figured this out, if you're an AI user, it is only as good as the data you give it to go look at. So it's going to have this whole conversation of data hygiene. Where are things stored? How is it separated? Starting to think down the lines of integrating your workflows. And then train your people. One of the other issues that I feel like we have in TIC, and I've been personally, I'll say I've done this, in my early years, is we are what I call brilliant as an industry in technical training. How to perform a service, how to perform a good technical trade. We are excellent. You know what we suck at? Management training. And we suck at higher level executive training to actually teach them how to do their job better and how to do their job within an ecosystem of an automated workflow. Go invest in what I call business related ecosystem trainings as much as we do with technical training, and we can really advance the industry forward. And the last one that I would say is let's just start thinking about how we measure productivity as industrial services and TIC. Instead of asking the typical questions of, well, how many inspections did we get done today? And how much inspection capacity do we have per inspector? It's all these words we like to throw around. Think about it with the workflow that we have integrated, what can we now do? Okay, instead of just thinking about things so arbitrarily as, wow, this inspector got 20 inspections done today. That's a rock star. Why? Why is 20 good? Why? Because historically, we're going to say 20 is good. 20 may be horrible. 20 may be honestly too many. He may not be doing a good enough inspection, so we don't really know. We just always go on historical. So we need to start thinking about how we service deliver a little bit differently.
Wonderful. Well, Clay, you're a fountain of knowledge, and it's such a big can of worms, really, to talk about AI. And as I said, it's very much a hesitation sometimes for businesses to talk about it and get involved. But just with the way the world's working and where we're transitioning and digitalization, it's becoming most important. So, look, really appreciate your thoughts on this, Clay. I really feel like it was an impactful conversation, and we covered quite a bit. I guess just from your perspective, is there any final thoughts that you'd like to share? Is there any kind of any grey areas that you'd like to uncover, or just a final piece in moment?
Yeah, I would say just in closing, like in summary, my view on this is AI is in no way replacing labor. And I want to be crystal clear. We need to quit as an industry being so scared of my job's going to disappear tomorrow. It is not replacing labor. It is all about increasing capacity with your current workforce so they can go do more and do a better job at what they do. So start thinking about it and talking about it in that way instead of like the doom and gloom Terminator stuff. And I'm saying that very honestly because I was at the AS&T conference this past year in Florida, and it struck me how many people still just immediately when you said AI thought of the Terminator movies. Just like is this doom and gloom we're going to be taken over, and it is really a powerful tool when it is used correctly and with the right mindset of usage.
Wonderful. Clay, it's been an absolute pleasure. This episode will be available on all platforms, and if you are keen to continue the discussion, then I'm sure Clay would be more than happy to have a chat with anybody. And if it adds an advantage to the business and makes everything just operate at an excellent level and become more efficient, I'm sure Clay would be more than happy to talk about that. So thanks once again. Really appreciate your time, Clay.
Yeah, thank you as well, Harrison. This was fun.
Take care.